My fingers hover over the Steinway's keys. Don't. Harrison Caldwell's voice cuts across the ballroom. That instrument is worth more than you'll make in 10 years. The guests laugh. Champagne crystal catches chandelier light. Silk gowns whisper against marble floors. 300 people in this room, and I'm the only one holding a cleaning rag. I should walk away. I need this job. I need every job since Marcus died. But the piano called to me. The way it used to. Before. I was just overstepping, Caldwell interrupts. He's 60, silver-haired, the kind of wealthy that builds hospital wings and expects buildings named after him. Maid's dust. They don't play. Surely you understand the difference. More laughter. I'm supposed to disappear now. Become invisible again. I look at the piano. At keys I haven't touched in 7 years. At the instrument Marcus sold to pay for his treatment before the insurance denied his claim anyway. I make a decision that might cost me everything. With respect, Mr. Caldwell, I say quietly, you don't know what I understand. His eyebrows rise. The room goes silent. I sit. I position my hands. I close my eyes. And I play. 6 weeks earlier, the Caldwell estate requires 42 staff members to maintain. I'm number 43, hired to replace a maid who quit after 2 weeks. The household manager, Miss Patricia Voss, walks me through rooms that could swallow my entire apartment building. Mr. Caldwell is particular, she says, her heels clicking against parquet floors. He expects precision, invisibility, staff who understand their place. I understand my place. I've understood it since Marcus died and the medical bills buried me. Since I lost our house. Since I pawned everything we owned, including the upright piano his grandmother left him. Since I stopped being Dr. Diane Morrison, music professor, and became Diane, the woman who cleans other people's houses. I understand, I tell Ms. Voss. She pauses outside double doors. The ballroom. Mr. Caldwell hosts monthly fundraisers. He'll clean after events. Never during. Staff are not to be seen by guests. Through the doors, I glimpse it. A Steinway Model D concert grand. 9 feet of ebony perfection positioned beneath a crystal chandelier like a jewel on display. My breath catches. Beautiful, isn't it? Ms. Voss says. Mr. Caldwell's late wife was a patron of the arts. He maintains it in her memory, though no one plays it anymore. Never. Not since she died 5 years ago. Something flickers across her face. He won't allow it. Says only Caroline's touch was worthy of that instrument. The waste of it makes my chest ache. A piano like that needs to be played. Needs fingers pressing its keys, hammers striking strings, music filling the space it occupies. Come, Ms. Voss says. I'll show you the rest. But I stand there a moment longer, looking at the piano that no one touches, remembering what I used to be. The work is backbreaking. I clean 18 bathrooms, polish 12 staircases, dust rooms that haven't been entered in months. I work 10-hour days for wages that barely cover my efficiency apartment and the debt still crushing me from Marcus's illness. But I don't complain. I can't afford to. On my 3rd day, I meet Harrison Caldwell. He appears in the library where I'm dusting first edition collections worth more than cars. He doesn't acknowledge my presence, just walks to his desk and begins sorting papers. I continue working, trying to be invisible. You missed a section, he says without looking up. I glance at the shelves. They're spotless. The top shelf. 3rd section from the left. There's dust. I look again. See the faintest film, barely visible. I'll get it, sir. See that you do? Attention to details separates competent staff from mediocre ones. He leaves without another word. Ms. Voss finds me 20 minutes later, using a specialized cloth on shelves I'd already cleaned twice. He does that to all the new staff, she says quietly. Test them. The ones who talk back get fired. The ones who cry quit. The ones who quietly fix it, they last. Which one are you? I ask. She smiles sadly. The one who's been here 19 years and knows when to be deaf. I learned the rhythm of the household. Mr. Caldwell rises at 6. Breakfast at 7. Always alone in the formal dining room. Business calls until noon. Lunch at 1. Afternoon meetings in his study. Dinner at 7:30, usually with guests from his social circle, board members, politicians, people whose influence matches their wealth. He's alone. Profoundly alone in a house designed for dozens. His wife died of cancer. They had no children. His brother died young. He has a niece who visits quarterly, a goddaughter who calls on holidays, but mostly he has staff. And distance. He maintains distance from everyone. Speaks to us in directives, not conversations. Never asks names, just roles. The maid, the cook, the gardener. We're functions, not people. I understand this kind of grief. Marcus and I had no children either. When he died, I became unmoored, untethered from the life we'd built. I stopped playing piano because hearing music without him felt like drowning. But Harrison Caldwell didn't stop. He kept the piano, keeps it tuned monthly, keeps it spotless. He just won't let anyone touch it. On week 3, I'm cleaning the ballroom after a charity luncheon. The piano sits in afternoon sunlight, its surface mirror perfect. I'm supposed to dust it carefully, never opening the keyboard cover. But I pause. Look around. The house is quiet. Mr. Caldwell is in town for meetings. I left the cover. The keys are pristine, ivory white and ebony black in perfect arrangement. I hover my hand above them, not touching, just remembering. Marcus teaching me Chopin on our wedding anniversary. The way his fingers moved across keys while I made dinner. The music that filled our tiny apartment and made it feel like a cathedral. You should be playing. I whisper to the silent instrument. I don't. Not yet. But I think about it. Week 4 brings the monthly fundraiser. Staff are not to be visible, Ms. Voss reminds us. You'll clean before guests arrive and after they leave. During the event, you stay in the service wing. 300 guests fill the ballroom that evening. I watch from the kitchen hallway as they drink champagne, network, write large checks for whatever cause Mr. Caldwell is supporting. The piano sits unused. A centerpiece. A memorial. A waste. After midnight, when the last guest leaves, I begin cleanup. Champagne glasses and dessert plates scattered across tables. Napkins on the floor. The debris of wealth displayed for other wealth. I work methodically, clearing tables, wiping surfaces. Then I reach the piano. Someone spilled champagne on it. A small puddle near the keyboard. I grab a cloth, carefully wipe it away. My hand brushes the keys. Just one. Middle C. The note rings pure and clear in the empty ballroom. I freeze. Listen for footsteps. Hear nothing. Play another note. E, then G. A C major chord. The sound fills me up. Fills the spaces hollowed out by 7 years of silence. By loss and grief and the person I used to be. I sit. I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't. But my hands are already moving. Moonlight spills across the keyboard. My fingers find Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. The piece I taught for 15 years, the one I know like breathing. The opening notes whisper through the empty ballroom. I close my eyes. For the first time since Marcus died, I'm not a maid. I'm not drowning in debt. I'm not the woman who lost everything. I'm just someone making music. The second movement builds, faster, lighter, my hands dancing across keys. I forget where I am. Forget the risk. Forget everything except the sound. Until the lights blaze on. Harrison Caldwell stands in the doorway, face white with fury. What are you doing? His voice shakes. How dare you? I stand so fast the bench scrapes the floor. I'm sorry. I was cleaning, and I just, get out. His words are ice. You're fired. I want you gone immediately. Ms. Voss appears behind him, her expression pained but unsurprised. Please, I say. I needed to clean the champagne spill. I shouldn't have played, but the piano, it shouldn't sit silent. Your wife wouldn't have wanted, don't. His hand cuts the air. Don't you dare speak about my wife. You know nothing about her. Nothing about what she wanted. I know she loved music. I'm shaking now, desperate. I know she wouldn't want this instrument to die with her. It's not dying. It's being preserved. His voice cracks. Only Caroline could play it. Only she understood what it meant. Every other touch is desecration. I see it then. The depth of his grief. The way he's built a shrine to his wife and called it preservation. The way he's trapped himself in the moment she died and refused to move forward. I know that trap. I lived in it for 7 years. She's gone, I say quietly. The music shouldn't be. His face goes rigid. Ms. Voss escort her out. Now, I pack my belongings in the staff quarters. 1 bag. That's all I own. Ms. Voss watches, wringing her hands. I'm sorry, Diane. If you'd just stayed invisible. I finish. I tried. For 7 years, I've tried. The piano means everything to him. His wife was a person, not a saint. I zip my back. And she's been dead 5 years. At some point, grief becomes a choice. Ms. Voss flinches. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. I meet her eyes. My husband died 7 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. We couldn't afford the treatment insurance wouldn't cover. I sold everything, including his grandmother's piano, to pay for 2 extra months of life. Her expression softens. I stopped playing the day he died. I continue. Stopped being Dr. Morrison, music professor. Became just Diane, the woman who cleans. Because if I wasn't a pianist anymore, I couldn't feel what I'd lost. Then why did you play tonight? Because I'm tired of being dead while still breathing. I'm escorted to my car by security at 2 a.m. Drove away from the Caldwell estate knowing I've destroyed my only stable income. Knowing I'll be back to agency work. Different houses each day, no benefits, barely surviving. But something shifted when I touched those keys. Something I've forgotten existed. 3 weeks pass. I work scattered jobs, a different house every day, barely making rent. I stop by the pawn shop where I sold Marcus's piano. It's long gone, sold years ago. But I find an old electric keyboard at a thrift store. $60 I can't afford. I buy it anyway. I play every night in my efficiency apartment. Badly at first, my fingers stiff, my muscle memory buried. But slowly, the music returns. And with it, something like hope. The call comes on a Tuesday. Ms. Morrison? Ms. Voss's voice is strange. Mr. Caldwell would like to speak with you. My heart hammers. I don't think, please. It's important. She sends a car. I arrive at the estate expecting lawyers, accusations, something about the piano. Instead, Harrison Caldwell waits in the music room, looking 10 years older than I remember. Sit, he says. I sit. After you left, I did something I haven't done in 5 years. He stares at his hands. I open Caroline's studio, the one I sealed after she died. He gestures to the room we're in, a small space filled with sheet music, recording equipment, photographs. She wasn't just a patron, he continues. She taught music to underprivileged children. Free lessons, 3 days a week, for 20 years. She believed music was a human right, not a luxury. I look at the photographs. Caroline Caldwell surrounded by children holding instruments, their faces bright with possibility. When she got sick, she made me promise something. His voice breaks. To continue her work. To keep teaching music to kids who couldn't afford it. Did you? I donated money. Wrote checks. Built a music wing at the children's hospital. He laughs bitterly. Everything except what she actually asked for. She wanted me to keep her studio open. To find teachers. To keep the music alive, not just fund it. Why didn't you? Because I couldn't touch her things without drowning. He meets my eyes. So I preserved everything instead. The studio. The piano. Our entire life together, frozen like a museum. I wait. You said grief becomes a choice, he says. You were right. I've been choosing it every day for 5 years. Mr. Caldwell, I had you investigated. He says it plainly. After you left, I wanted to know what kind of person would risk everything to play a piano. My stomach drops. Dr. Diane Morrison, Ph.D. in music performance from Juilliard. Professor at Connecticut College for 12 years. Published researcher on music therapy. Specialized in teaching children with disabilities. He pauses. Widow. Debt from medical bills. Pawned everything to pay for experimental treatments insurance wouldn't cover. I can't speak. You stopped teaching when your husband died. He continues. Stopped playing. Stopped being who you were. Until 3 weeks ago, when you sat at my piano and played Beethoven like you were remembering how to breathe. Why are you telling me this? Because I want to hire you. The offer is impossible. Director of the Caroline Caldwell Music Education Foundation. Salary 3 times what I made as a professor. Full benefits. Complete creative control. You'd reopen Caroline's studio, he explains. Recruit students from underfunded schools. Hire teachers. Build the program she envisioned. I don't understand. You fired me for touching your piano. I fired you for making me feel something I'd been avoiding. He stands, walks to a window overlooking the gardens. After you left, I couldn't sleep. Kept hearing the music you played. Kept thinking about what you said, that the music shouldn't die with her. Mr. Caldwell, Harrison, please. He turns. I spent 5 years punishing myself for not saving her. Punishing the world for taking her. The piano, the studio, the distance, it was all punishment disguised as preservation. And now I'm tired of being dead while still breathing. He uses my words. Caroline would hate what I've become. Would hate the shrine I built. She'd want the piano played. The studio full. The music alive. I look at the photographs again. At Caroline's smile. At the children she taught. There's a condition, Harrison says. You have to play. Not just teach, play. The Steinway. Every day. Fill that ballroom with the music it was made for. My throat tightens. I haven't played seriously in 7 years. Neither have I grieved properly in 5. We're both relearning. I start the following Monday. The studio fills quickly. 20 students the first week, 40 by the second. Children from Hartford's poorest neighborhoods, holding instruments for the first time, their eyes wide with possibility. I hire 3 teachers. We establish scholarships. We partner with schools. And every morning, I play the Steinway. Badly at first. My technique is rusty, my confidence shattered. But Harrison listens from the doorway some mornings, and slowly, so slowly, it comes back. The music. The purpose. The person I used to be. 6 months into the program, Harrison announces a fundraiser. A gala. He explains during our weekly meeting. To showcase the foundation's work. Some students will perform. And you. Me. You'll play. The Steinway. He's decided. Caroline always believed people support what moves them. Let them see what their money creates. The night of the gala, 300 guests fill the ballroom. I stand backstage with my students. Marcus, age 8, holding his first violin. Sierra, 12, ready to sing. David, 10, clutching a flute. I'm scared, Sierra whispers. Me too, I admit. But you're a grown-up. A teacher. Still scared. But that's okay. Bravery isn't not being afraid. It's playing anyway. She considers this. Nods. The students perform beautifully, rough around the edges, but full of heart. The audience applauds politely, generously. Then Harrison introduces me. 7 months ago, I fired the woman you're about to hear, he begins. The audience stirs. I fired her for touching my late wife's piano without permission. For playing music I'd declared untouchable. He pauses. I was wrong. Dr. Diane Morrison reminded me that music isn't meant to be preserved, it's meant to be shared. That grief honored through silence isn't honor at all. That my wife would hate what I'd become. He looks at me in the wings. Dr. Morrison lost her husband to an illness she couldn't cure. Lost her career. Lost herself. But she found her way back through the very thing I was destroying. The belief that music matters. That beauty matters. That we honor the dead not by freezing their memory, but by continuing their work. I walk on stage. Sit at the Steinway. My hands shake. I think of Marcus. Of Caroline. Of all the silences we choose because speaking feels too painful. I play Chopin, the nocturne in E-flat major that Marcus loved. My fingers find the notes, the phrasing, the emotion I've locked away for 7 years. The ballroom disappears. There's only the music. When I finish, the silence stretches. Then applause, genuine, moved, human. I stand. Bow. See Harrison in the front row, tears streaming down his face. See my students in the wings, their faces bright with understanding that music can hold both grief and joy. See 300 people who came for obligation staying for connection. The gala raises $2 million. We expand the program. More students, more instruments, more teachers. We partner with schools across Connecticut. We establish a scholarship fund named for Caroline and Marcus both. Harrison transforms. He opens Caroline's studio permanently, hosts student recitals monthly, attends every performance. He starts playing again himself. Tentatively, privately, but playing. One evening, I find him at the Steinway after a recital, running his fingers across the keys. She loved this piece, he says, playing the opening of Debussy's Clair de Lune. Used to play it every morning. It's beautiful. She was beautiful. Is beautiful. In memory. He looks at me. I thought preserving everything exactly as she left it would keep her close. But it just kept me stuck. And now I'm learning that honoring someone means continuing what they loved, not embalming it. He stands. Thank you, Diane, for being brave when I was a coward. You weren't a coward. You were grieving. For 5 years. However long it takes. He smiles sadly. When does it stop hurting? I think of Marcus. Of the ache that softened but never disappeared. Of learning to carry loss instead of being crushed by it. It doesn't, I say honestly. But you learn to make music around it. 2 years after that first gala, we serve 300 students. The program has waiting lists. Recognition from the National Endowment for the Arts. Coverage in education journals. Most importantly, Children making music who never would have had the chance. Marcus Chun, now 10, plays violin in the youth orchestra. Sierra Williams, 14, received a scholarship to a performing arts high school. David Rodriguez, 12, taught himself piano and now helps younger students. They're thriving, growing, becoming. I teach 4 days a week, play 2, administer 1. My debt is gone. My apartment is bigger. My life is full of music again. But more than that, I'm full of purpose. On the anniversary of the night Harrison fired me, he hosts a small dinner. Just staff, teachers, and a few students. We eat in the formal dining room he used to occupy alone. 3 years ago, Harrison says, raising his glass, I believed the best way to honor my wife was to preserve her memory perfectly, to keep everything she touched sacred and untouched. He looks around the table. Diane showed me I was wrong, that the best way to honor Caroline is to continue her work, to fill this house with the music she loved, to teach the students she believed in. To Dr. Morrison, someone toasts. To second chances, I counter. For all of us, we drink, we eat, we tell stories. Later, I play for them, a new piece I've been composing. It's called Moonlight in Memory, and it's about finding beauty in loss. When I finish, Harrison approaches the piano. Would you teach me, he asks, to play, to grieve properly, to move forward while keeping her close, to make music around the hurt? I think of my journey, of pawning Marcus's piano, then finding my way back to music through Harrison's, of how loss can either destroy us or transform us, depending on what we choose to do with it. Yes, I say, but you have to promise something. Anything. You have to keep playing, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. He sits beside me on the bench. I show him the opening chords of a simple piece. His fingers are stiff, uncertain, but he tries. And that's all any of us can do. Try. Keep trying. Keep making music despite and because of the silence loss creates. 5 years after touching that piano for the first time, I returned to teaching at the university level. Connecticut College offers me a position, professor of music education, with a specialty in community engagement. I accept, but continue running the foundation part-time. Harrison serves as board chair. He plays regularly now, not professionally, but joyfully. He's dating someone, a woman who knew Caroline and loves music. He's building a life that honors his past without being imprisoned by it. The Steinway is played daily, by students, teachers, visiting artists. It's been restored twice, maintained obsessively, and most importantly, used. Marcus would love that. Caroline too. On what would have been my 20th wedding anniversary, I compose a piece for Marcus. I premiere it at the Foundation's annual gala, 5 years after I first played the Steinway. The ballroom is packed. Donors, students, families, press. I sit at the piano that changed my life and play music born from grief, transformed into beauty. The piece is called The Things We Carry. It's about loss and love, silence and sound, the weight we bear and the wings we grow. When I finish, the standing ovation lasts 3 minutes. But the moment I treasure is smaller. Seeing Sierra, now 17, crying in the front row. Seeing Marcus Chun, 13, holding his violin like it's precious. Seeing David Rodriguez, 15, already composing his own music. Seeing what happens when we choose to create instead of preserve, to share instead of hoard, to honor the dead by living fully. People ask me about that night sometimes. The night Harrison Caldwell fired me for touching his piano. The night that changed everything. They want a moral, a lesson, a neat conclusion. Here's what I tell them. Grief can make us small, can convince us that honoring loss means enshrining it, protecting it, keeping it untouchable. But real honor looks different. Real honor is continuing the work, playing the music, teaching the students, living the values. Real honor is transformation, not preservation. I didn't save Harrison Caldwell. He saved himself by finally choosing to move forward. I just played a piano when I wasn't supposed to. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes the smallest act of bravery, touching the untouchable, speaking the unspeakable, making music in the silence, that's what changes everything. The foundation now serves 800 students annually. We have permanent facilities, endowments, partnerships with major orchestras. We've sent 43 students to music schools on full scholarships. But the number that matters most is one. One piano, played daily, full of life and sound and purpose. One choice to honor the past by creating the future. One woman who remembered who she was and helped another man do the same. If this story touched you, if you've ever felt invisible, ever lost yourself in grief, ever wondered if your gifts still matter, I want you to tell you something. They do. You do. Your voice deserves to be heard. Your music deserves to be played. Your purpose doesn't die when circumstances change. It waits, quietly, patiently, waiting for you to be brave enough to touch the keys again. Be brave. Play your music. Honor your losses by living fully. The world needs what only you can create. And somewhere, someone is waiting to hear it.